Good evening and welcome to St Anthony's and St Aidan's Catholic Sixth Form Virtual Open Evening. My name is Mr Michael McDonough. I am a Deputy Head of St Anthony's and I will be taking through this presentation which tells you how to apply to be a member of the Sixth Form. So the question is, why choose St Anthony's and St Aidan's Sixth Form? Why come here above other places? One of the main reasons to come to St Anthony's and St Aidan's Sixth Form is our track record in results. You can see our average results over time. A quarter of all grades at A star and A, half of grades at A star, A and B, and nearly 80% at A star to C. It is this consistent track record of high standards in results which makes us a number one choice. Results have to be turned into destinations and careers, and through time 85% of our students went on to their first or second choice at university. All students got a place at university who wanted it, and we pride ourselves that on leaving sixth form 100% of our students go either into education or employment. Of course, sixth form isn't just about exam results. It's about spending 2 years achieving those results, but also learning to develop as an individual, a rounded individual who's ready to take on the world as they go forward into university and employment. We offer many extracurricular activities. It may be a cultural trip linked to your course, for example, the French trip to Paris. Or it could be an academic trip linked to learning. And on the bottom of the screen, you can see a group of students who went to NASA and spent a week at NASA engaging with the scientists there and learning how their physics and sciences applied to space travel. It could be charity work, collecting for local charities, our food bank, or charities abroad, such as in Sierra Leone. It may be that you get the opportunity to help with local election vote running, or meet celebrities, or just get time to sit and reflect on life in a different setting as we go on retreat. And of course, at the end of the 2 years, there's our ever popular sixth form ball, where the students get to celebrate their last time together before they go off to their different destinations. Mrs. Smith, our Director of Sixth Form, will talk about the pastoral care and which is behind this extracurricular activity set in a different PowerPoint presentation on this website. So how do we apply to sixth form? Well, there are two processes for applying for sixth form. There's the initial application, which is staged at the minute, and this allows us to gather information about what courses you wish to study, and then to build the sixth form around what you want. Many schools and colleges give fixed blocks and say you must pick from these blocks. Here at St Anthony's and St Aidan's sixth form, we don't do that. We find out what courses you think you want to study, and then we build the blocks and the timetable around what you want. This way, the vast majority, but not all, but the vast majority of students get exactly the courses that they want because we build the timetable around what they want. Occasionally, we cannot do this. We try not to have that happen too often, but it can happen. Of course, should you change your option choices later down the line, we cannot guarantee that your new option choices will fit with what we create from your initial responses. The second part of the application will come in the summer when we get our results, and we will talk a bit about that later on in this presentation. We offer 34 different courses here at St Anthony's and St Aidan's sixth form, both A-levels, BTECs and Cambridge exams, as well as English language and mathematics GCSE resets. There are a number of courses there which you will be familiar with, such as mathematics, biology, French, and a number which we have not had a chance to study before, such as psychology, sociology, applied law. Students would traditionally choose 3 courses. The only exception to that is the childcare course. The childcare course is the equivalent of 3 courses and counts as one choice. Those students who have not achieved at least a grade 4 in their English and or in their mathematics must study those courses until they achieve that grade 4, and they will have an opportunity to sit the exam again in the November of year 12, the summer of year 12, November of year 13, the summer of year 13. We hope that most students, as they do, would achieve that grade 4 pass in the November. It is worth saying at this point that it's important that you work hard for your English and maths, because having to study them will limit the choice of qualifications that you can study, because it will take out some subjects due to timetabling, which you will not be able to access if you do not have that English and that mathematics qualification at a grade 4. So what are the entry requirements for sixth form? Well, our standard entry requirement to study 3 A-levels or 3 level 3 vocational courses is that students must achieve at least 3 GCSEs at grade 5 and 2 at grade 4, and also have achieved the individual subject or course entry requirements. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a minute. Some students may wish to study 4 A-levels. This is possible, but only if you have achieved 5 or more 7, 8 or 9 grades, and obviously have achieved the entry requirements for the courses you want to study. Students who have not achieved 5 GCSEs at the standard entry level, but do have 5 GCSEs at grade 4, should contact the sixth form to discuss individualised programmes of study based on a reduced list of subjects. We can accommodate some people who have, for example, 5 4s, but it is on a much greater reduced list of subjects. This slide and the next one are both snapshots from our sixth form website, and I would advise you to look at these on the website closely once you've finished watching this presentation. These are the entry requirements for each of the individual subjects. So biology at A level has a number of different routes you could get into it. It could be that you have got a grade 6 in GCSE biology and one other GCSE science and a grade 6 in GCSE mathematics, or you could have got a grade 6 in the science trilogy and a grade 6 in GCSE mathematics. And it's worth saying at this point that the entry requirement for a lot of courses which are mathematical, such as biology, chemistry, physics and psychology, as well as the mathematics courses, do require a strict grade 6 in mathematics. There are routes for those who do not achieve that grade 6, and more about that on the next slide. Some courses, such as government politics, classics and economics, only require the 5 entries. There is no course that requires a 7, but it is recommended that you have a 7 if you're going to do further mathematics alongside your mathematics, but it's not essential. Our other level 3 courses also have a varying set of entry requirements depending on the nature of the subject. So if you want to do the National Diploma in Child's Play Learning and Development, you would require a minimum of 5 GCSEs at grade 4, preferably including maths and English and a science. But it's preferably including that. If you haven't got a 4 in the maths or a 4 in the English, you would study those in order to achieve it. And it's worth saying at this point that for the Child's Play and Development, its main purpose is to get you the right to practice. They require you to have the 4s. So it's important that you either come with them or that you achieve them. Other courses, such as applied law, just require a minimum of 5 GCSEs at grade 4, including English and maths at a grade 4. But you must have an English and maths at a grade 4 to be allowed onto that applied course. The applied science course has a number of different routes in. It requires a minimum of 5 GCSEs at grade 4, preferably including English at grade 4, and it must have a grade 5 at GCSE mathematics. It's a science, it needs a grade 5. Or you could get 2 5s from GCSE physics, biology and chemistry, and a grade 5 at maths, or 5-5 in science trilogy. Core mathematics is a qualification studied 2 hours a week by students who are on a science course or on a highly mathematical course, such as geography and psychology or economics, and who are not studying A-level mathematics. This course is a qualification in its own right. It comes with grades and points for university, and students find it very, very supportive to study that course alongside their normal A-levels if they're not doing A-level mathematics. And it is not an option. If you don't choose A-level mathematics and you're on a mathematical course, you have to do core mathematics. Our results in that have been great and over the last couple of years, and it has helped a number of students actually gain a place at university. And it's worth saying again, GCSE courses. The GCSE courses for all students who have not achieved a grade 4 at GCSE English or GCSE Mathematics. It is not an option. You have to sit it, and those students will sit those in November and in the summer if they don't get a November resit, and they will study that course and hopefully move on to the 4s and 5s, in which case they can relinquish having to study it. But what is well worth saying yet again is that if you have to sit English and mathematics, it will be placed in a block, and it will mean that you will not be able to access subjects that are in the same block as the GCSE English and Maths resit classes. So it is important that if you have the full choice of qualifications that you want to do, that you make sure you get your grade 4 in English and your grade 4 in mathematics. I'm going to say a little bit now about our online prospectus. Our online prospectus is our sixth form website, which you've obviously already visited. If you haven't had time to look around it yet, please do take the time. If you have looked around it, thank you very much. Hopefully you found the answers to lots of questions you need to know. But I just want to point out some sections just to give you an idea of where to look if you haven't yet already done so. If you go to our courses section, you'll find entries for all the courses we offer. And these entries give you a little bit more detail about what you will study and what the entry requirements are. So I've picked on mathematics, and here we are. I've clicked on mathematics, and you can see here it's telling me, I'm not printing the whole thing out on the screen, just part of it. We're picking on here and saying, well, look, the awarding body is OCR. It's a 2-year course. And then we tell you a little bit of information about how the course is structured, how the assessment happens, and what the specific entry requirement is. So the specific entry requirement for mathematics is a GCSE grade 6 in mathematics, but you must have got that alongside the standard entry requirement of 3 5s and 2 4s minimum at GCSE. The application form for sixth form can be found by going to the section Applying to Sixth Form on the website. There are plenty of links around the place that will take you there, but you will also find it in the top bar of the web page. This page contains lots of information about your initial application to sixth form, where you give us an indication of the subjects you think you might like to study. This is not a commitment. It doesn't mean because you tell me you want to do maths, physics and chemistry now, that in September I'm going to say, no, you told me how to do maths, physics and chemistry, so you're doing it. This is just an initial indication of what you're thinking about so that we can build the timetable around what you want. You are free to change your mind at any point, but we don't need to know about that until you arrive in September, because once we've constructed the timetable, it's impossible for us to alter it. If you ring up and say, oh, well, I don't want to do that now, I want to do subjects X, Y, and Z instead. We can't alter the timetable at that point. It's been fixed. So it would be a case of whether your change of subjects fitted with the new timetable structure, the new blocking structure, which we had come up with based on the initial responses. So it's not binding what you say to us here. It helps us with the planning. It helps us with arranging staffing. and making sure that we have the classes on to cater for the numbers of people wanting to study them. Once you've clicked the Applying to Sixth Form section and scroll down a little place, you will see the information about how to access the online application form. It also contains the information about our deadlines for applications. Applications open on the open evening date, 26th of January 2022, and the initial closing date is on Monday the 14th of February 2022. We close on St. Valentine's Day to make it easier to remember the deadline. If you apply after this date of the 14th of February 2022, your applications will still be accepted and they are very, very welcome. But what they will not be is factored into our building of the timetable. It may be that if you apply, say, on the 14th of March, a month after the date, that you want to do subjects X, Y, and Z, and we cannot do them because we have used everyone else's choices to build a timetable, and X, Y, and Z now clash in the boxes, and the boxes that you need to go into. So, if you want to make sure that your wishes are factored into the planning for the sixth form, please make sure you do apply by Monday the 14th of February. Applications can be accepted all the way up to the end of the school year in July. And even if you haven't applied, it is possible to apply after GCSE results. So if you change your mind about what you want to do in late August, having seen your GCSE results, don't worry that you haven't applied at this part. You can still apply in the summer, and there's more about that later on in this presentation. The application form is online, and I'll talk about this in the next slide, but you can see it's highlighted on the page there where it says online applications will open on Wednesday the 26th of January, and the line below it, please click on this link to access the online application form. That link, online application form, it's black here, it could be blue depending on the status. Click on it. If it's blue, it's active and you should be able to apply. At the moment it's black, because obviously we haven't launched the sixth form open evening yet. Once you enter the application form, we collect the obvious information: your name, address, date of birth, telephone number, an email address, and it's important that you give us a home email address so that we can contact you, especially if you're an external student. If you're at another school, then what happens quite often is that your school email accounts are deactivated and we can't contact you over the summer. Obviously, we need the information about your current school and academy, and any tutor group information as well you might have. We then ask you to make a choice. We ask you to enter up to 4 subjects that you would want to study, but we want you to do it in a rank order. So the first choice is your first choice, what subject you most want to study, second choice, third choice, fourth choice. And these are all done, as you can see, from a simple drop down menu. You simply got to click on the button and choose the subject you want, but again, in a rank order, please. That rank order is very important to us because that is used as part of the planning. We then need to collect information about your predicted grades. So, what, and this is going to really come from the most recent grades you've had on reports. So, what are your teachers saying are your predicted future grades? So, I'll ask you to pass that on information to us. And again, there's a drop-down menu for that, 9 to 1, and then the D star, D, MP, and U for the vocational type courses, which have the distinction, merit, and pass facilities. Next, we would ask you to do us a little personal statement. 300 words, you're best typing it in something like Word and then copying and pasting it into that statement. We do read these, we do look through them, and it does help us get a picture of the new year 12 we will be getting, and it gives us an idea when we're trying to put blocks together. So if we're struggling with a person's option choices and we're trying to get their third one in, we would almost certainly have a really good look at what they said in this statement to see if it was fundamental, the clash that we were having, the problem we were having was fundamental to what they wanted to do, and we would try our best to make sure that we could work around it. So it does help us if we know a little bit about you. So what should you tell us in your personal statement? Well, really 5 bullet points here, just simple things. Tell us why you love a subject, tell us what your career aim is, tell us about any relevant work experience you've had, any enrichment activities you do which might support it, like Duke of Edinburgh, and also tell us about any opportunities you'd like to experience. It's nice for us to get the information about what you would want out of sixth form beyond the academic experiences. This is your chance to tell us, yes, I'd like to be able to do this if possible. And then we can look into these things. We can't promise that we will be able to do them, but we'll look into providing opportunities for you to do those, gain those experiences that you think you require. The final part of the application is just to give us consent to contact you through email. This is the easiest way for us to contact you, but obviously under the GDPR regulations of 2018, we do need your permission to do so. So if you could please indicate there whether you give permission or do not give permission, click the submit, and the application form will shoot off to the sixth form. You do not get an immediate response saying, yes, we've got your application. This is not an automated system which does that, unfortunately. But what you will get shortly at some point after the 14th is just a very simple email saying, yeah, we've got your application form. But that will, of course, will only go to those people who give us permission to email it to them. Those who haven't given us permission to email them to you, you will get a letter via slow mail saying, yeah, we've got your application. So, having looked at all the presentations, looked at the website, how do I ask questions? Obviously, if we were able to hold an open evening in school, you'd be able to ask questions in person at the end of a presentation and to ask questions of subject teachers as you toured the building. But as they are doing this as a virtual open evening this year, we need to put in a mechanism for you to be able to ask such questions. And what we're going to ask you to do is simply to email the school with your question, and the email address is on the screen there, sixthform@stanthonysacademy.com. And these are monitored daily from Monday to Friday, and someone will contact you within a few days with an answer to your query. Right? They will come through, actually they'll come across my desk, and I will direct them to the most relevant member of staff and ask them to provide an answer for you, which we will then communicate back to you as quickly as we can. But please note, this open evening email question service will only be active up until Thursday, the 10th of February 2022. That is the Thursday before the weekend which precedes the deadline, the closing deadline on the 14th. So do get your questions in early. Obviously, if you put a question in on the Thursday, you should get an answer on the Friday to that. But then we cannot generate any answers for any emails received over that weekend before the deadline on the 14th. So if it is an important question you want to ask, please do contact. And of course, if you're in a school, if you're in St. Aidan's or St. Anthony's, there are always staff at the schools who you can ask in person, and they will be able to answer questions for you. And if they can't answer the questions for you, then obviously the email service will be there for you as well. So we're nearly at the end of our presentation now. So some important key dates. Thursday the 10th of February, that's the deadline for our email questions. So any questions in by Thursday the 10th, we'll get back to you before Monday the 14th of February, which is the deadline for applications, the initial deadline for applications. Applications are accepted after this date, but as I've already said, they just won't be factored into our planning if they arrive 3 or 4 weeks after that date. Through March and April, once the half term has gone, through March and April, then we will be processing your applications. Students from other schools will be given the opportunity to visit with parents if they so wish, to have a look around, obviously under COVID restrictions. Offers will be made to successful candidates. Do not panic if you do not hear. All right, there are over 200 applicants to sixth form every year. It takes us a while to make sure we treat each application with the care it needs, and the care it should be awarded. So it is not a quick process that everyone gets an offer within a week. No, it can take 4 to 5 weeks to go through. So don't panic if you don't get anything in initial things. Don't panic if you hear other people getting offers. It's just that we're working through the applications, and we tend to work through them on a first come first serve. As the application comes in, we are working through them. So if you apply early, you'll get an earlier response. If you apply closer to the deadline of 14th, you're probably going to be in the mix with those who applied later on. Then we have to do our exams. Good luck with those. Make sure you do your best. Don't let yourselves down, because we want every one of you on GCSE Results Day to have a wonderful set of results in your hand. And GCSE Results Day this year is Thursday, the 25th of August. I would encourage you to make sure that you are not out of Sunderland at that time. Make sure that you're in Sunderland, because that is also the time when the sixth form enrolment begins. And I will talk to you briefly about the sixth form enrolment on the next page. So sixth form enrolment day. It's not really a day for many students. It's a number of days, but we call it the enrolment day because it's the day that the process starts, and that is Thursday, the 25th of August, 2022 this year, and that is GCSE Results Day. Applications are received electronically online. You'll be asked to put in your grades that you have achieved and your details, and we'll take applications that way. You can apply through the enrolment process even if you haven't applied in the February. You know, if you've changed your mind, you thought you were going to go to college, or you thought you were going to go on an apprenticeship, and you've got some great grades, you decide you're going to stay on and do A-levels or BTECs here at St Anthony's in sixth form, that's lovely. Just go through the electronic system, and it doesn't matter that you didn't apply before in August. And the electronic system will come online usually about 8 o'clock, 8:30 on that Thursday morning. So it's up and live once you've collected your results first thing in the morning. If we need to talk to you about your application, we will contact you on the Friday or the following Tuesday it will be, because of the bank holidays, to arrange appointments for you to come in and speak to a member of staff from St Anthony's or St Aidan's about your application. If from looking at our application you have met the entry requirements of grades and isn't a problem, then you will obviously receive an email offering you a place with information about where you have to come and go. It's important that you are available and are around on those results to go for applications, and it is important that you enroll on time. We will only guarantee places on courses if you have met the grades for a limited space of time in August, because courses get full, and once a course is full, then if you apply in the initial application process, which will cover the Thursday until the bank holiday Monday, then if you apply beyond that, we cannot guarantee that you'll get a place on the course, even if you've got the grades, because that course may be full, in which case you would go onto a waiting list for that course, and you may be lucky enough to get onto it if somebody changes what they want to do, or as happened in the past, you may find that you cannot get onto that course because nobody wants to leave it and create a space. That's the end of the presentation. I'd just like to thank you for taking the time and the patience to listen to it. I hope I've explained many things in here that you need to know. If you do have any questions, do please use the email query service. Thank you and good night.